Warning, the following video on ranking New Zealand snacks is just my opinion. Chances are you've got a very different opinion on what the best New Zealand snacks are. If so, you can Well, hello and welcome everybody to what I'm sure is going to be a controversial video. Today in this video, I'm going to be ranking some of, but obviously not all of, New Zealand's most popular snacks in the form of a tier ranking video, which was a very popular format here on YouTube about 2 years ago. Anyway, without much further ado, let's get right into it. I've compiled a list of only 20 of what I believe to be some of New Zealand's most popular and beloved snack foods. Now, the categories I've got are at the very top, Choice Bro, followed by Yeah Bro. In the middle, I've got Chur. It's not bad, not good, it's just Chur. Followed by, getting into the negatives, Yeah Nah. Yes but no, but maybe no but yes. Yeah. And right at the bottom, we've got a category of Stink. Let's start off with a very popular chip. It's not a chip, it's a corn snack. Here in New Zealand, it's burger rings. Burger rings have been around longer than I can remember. They neither taste of burgers or rings. As I mentioned, they are a corn-based snack flavored with what is supposed to be a burger-flavored dust. They're pretty good, in my opinion. I won't say I love them. I'm not going to put them in Choice Bro, but they are a perennial New Zealand snack staple. I'm going to put them in Yeah Bro. Next up, we come to, now, what I consider the king of biscuits in New Zealand, the Squiggle Top. Now, you'll notice here I've gone for the candy flavor variety of the Squiggle Top. They also come in Hokey Pokey. They are chocolate biscuits with a, with a sort of sugary fudge icing inside, covered in chocolate, and then with a squiggly icing pattern on the top with either, like I said, Hokey Pokey, which seems to be the go-to favorite of most people, but I particularly love the candy flavor ones. And the candy, instead of Hokey Pokey chips, you've got those little chips of like what used to be, what was the snack? Not tangy fruits. Oh, I should have put tangy fruits on this list. Not tangy fruits. There used to be a snack a long time ago in New Zealand called Clinkers, and they were like these fruit-flavored, crunchy snacks covered in chocolate. So you've got the chips of those like clinker things on the top. I think they're much better than the Hokey Pokey. Ramble over. I'm putting them straight up the top. Choice Bro. If I had to also rank Hokey Pokey flavored Squiggle Tops, I would put them at a close second. Moving on to another much-loved Kiwi favorite, and that is the Cookie Time variety. Here I've gone for the picture of the original Cookie Time monster cookie. These days they're not so monster. I can vaguely remember when they became a thing across the country. I used to live on these things back when I was in university, back when they only used to cost $1. So, and they've gotten a lot smaller, which is a recurring theme we'll see in the biscuit category. But still, they are pretty good. Despite their shrinking size recently, I will put them in the... I'll put them below Squiggle Tops, though, in the Choice Bro section. Okay, the second in the chips category here, and it's Mexicano corn chips. A bit of a bolter in the last few years. This company... my friends and family call them Nai chips because they're based out of Nai. These have become incredibly popular. They're reasonably priced and they're decent value for money, because another recurring theme, just like the shrinking biscuit, chips in New Zealand have been decreasing in volume. That is, you get more air than chip in the bag. But Mexicano corn chips, or Nai chips as I like to call them, have a pretty good ratio of chip to air in the bag. So, and they taste pretty good too. I'm going to put them up in the Choice Bro section. I don't think there are too many chips in New Zealand that taste decent, price decently, and you don't get ripped off with just about 70% air in the bag. Okay, yet another biscuit, and now we're moving on to the mysteriously named Vanilla Wine Biscuit. Now, these biscuits are a bit of a staple of New Zealand biscuits. Why are they called vanilla wines, though? I've often wondered since I was a child. They neither taste very much of vanilla and they don't taste anything like wine. I'm sure some biscuit nerd of New Zealand could probably tell me why. I can't be bothered to research the name too much. They're a very, perhaps they're called vanilla because they are very, very, very vanilla. They're a very bland biscuit. They don't taste bad. They don't taste great. I think I have had a UK equivalent. I think they compare quite similarly to the UK's rich tea biscuit. I'm not too sure if that's the correct biscuit though. Pretty good if you're into dunking biscuits in tea or coffee, which I am not, but that's what I'm told people like to do. I'm putting them, they're going to be the first entry in the Chur section. They're a bit better than I mean, they're not bad. They're just really bland. The sort of biscuit that if it's around and you're hungry, you'll have no question about smashing them into your face anyway. Okay, another chip, well, I should say corn-based snack, and that is Twisties. Twisties, again, another very mass-produced corn-based snack variety covered in a very strong cheesy powder. It's not quite like a Cheeto. They're a bit fatter and shorter than Cheetos. The cheese dust that sprinkles the Twistie is very, very potent and will leave you with very orange fingers. And as a child, you get orange powder all over your face, much to the chagrin of your parents. Not to mention orange fingerprints all over the house after eating these things. Twisties, yeah, they're, I've always, even as a kid, I thought they were a little bit cheap and nasty, but not too nasty. They are a bit of a staple of the New Zealand snack food scenery. This is tough. Are they sure? I mean, I'm not going to put them as bro. I just don't think they're quite as good as burger rings, to be honest. I'd rate them a bit higher than vanilla wine biscuits, though. Certainly got more taste and flavor. So they go at the upper end of Chur. Moving on. Sparkles. Now, I will say, Sparkles, the most disappointing lolly or sweet or candy, depending on where you're from. They are just hard. They're a hard candy, a hard lolly. It's like that, sugary resin that's got lots and lots of food dye in it. But you're just eating basically just hardened sugar, usually colored red. I don't know why they're called sparkles. They don't sparkle at all. Their taste certainly isn't sparkling. You're just eating hardened sugar. The cheapest, blandest, nastiest lolly I can remember from my childhood. They go right in the bin. They are stink. Compared to Jaffas. Oh, it's a shame the picture gets cut off here, but I was quite fond of the classic packaging here. Always been a favourite of mine. Yet I don't know too many other New Zealanders who have bad things to say about them. I possibly love them a bit more than your average New Zealander. I was very, very fond of the Jaffa Easter egg whenever they were available. I ate a lot of Jaffas as a kid. Again, it's something that will leave your fingers and lips and tongue coloured very, very red after eating them. They're basically just hard chocolate with an orange-flavoured red shell on the outside. They're great. I love them. I could eat them all day, which would probably kill me eventually. But I'm going to put them up in the choice, bro. I love them. You know what? I think they're better than Cookie Time in my eyes. Not quite as good as Squiggles, though. Another biscuit now. We've got Griffins Mallard Puffs. Now, these were among my favourites growing up in New Zealand, and I hate to say that over the past 2 decades or more, they have just... the quality of these things has slipped considerably. I think they're a perfect analogy of the great and steep decline in most biscuit qualities in New Zealand of the past 2 or 3 decades. Mallard Puffs, a biscuit base with what used to be a generous marshmallow on top, then covered in chocolate. You get other flavors and varieties. You get the caramel. There's like a little bit of a layer of caramel between the biscuit and the marshmallow. I'm sure there was another one with a layer of chocolate in there. I think there was also used to be a fruity one. They're all pretty good. You can't go wrong with the original though. But like I said, they've gotten so small over the years, and I think it's an absolute national travesty, the condition the Mallard Puff is in now. And of course, the price, if anything, they've only gone up. So because of that, had this been 20 or so years ago when I was much younger, they would have been right up here. They're in the bro, but they're coming close to slipping into chur. How the mighty have fallen, really. I hope they don't continue their downward spiral. More biscuits now, and this is a very truncated picture of what I would consider bizarrely much loved biscuit from the 1980s in New Zealand called Choco Aid. The aid suffix on the end there sort of conjures up images of like lemonade or something sparkling, and I never got that because they're just a very bland biscuit base with a little bit of chocolate poured on top. Certainly, as you can see, the chocolate doesn't even cover the entire biscuit. Now, there's a few caveats to the Choco Aid. Recently, Griffins have done a bit of retro marketing, and they've revived the Choco Aid, and they've made more flavors. So instead of just dull, bland biscuit with a little bit of chocolate poured on the top, you actually get a little bit of, you get like a orange jam, kind of similar to what you get in Jaffa cake over in the UK. Orange flavored or caramel. And those are actually pretty good. So you know what? I think the original Choco Aids are not that bad. They're just a bit ordinary. But with the addition of the new flavors between the chocolate and biscuit, I'm elevating them a little bit. They go up to Yeah Bro, the bottom of Yeah Bro. Again, another biscuit, another very, very popular biscuit, a stalwart of the New Zealand supermarket biscuit lineup, and that is the Chitchat. Often compared to their more famous Australian cousin, the Arnott's Tim Tam, which gets a lot of the press and is often seen as the sexier biscuit. Not many people outside New Zealand know about the Chitchat. They are, of course, very, very, very similar to a Tim Tam. The jury's out. I think a lot of people are split on, is the Chitchat actually better than the Tim Tam? Some people will say yes, some people will say no. I think they're pretty damn good. If you found these in the Christmas time biscuit selection box, you always try to get the Chitchats out of there for yourself as quickly as possible before your brother or sister could. Like I said, they're basically a New Zealand version of a Tim Tam. I think they're pretty decent. I'm going to put them in the... You know what? They're better than Choco Aid or Mallard Puffs, in my opinion. And they are better than... I'd rate them higher than Burger Rings. I don't know if I'd put them as high as Choice Bro, but they're at the top of Yeah Bro, okay? Chit-Chats are pretty good. Again, this should really be a New Zealand biscuits video, but that's a controversial video for another day, I feel. Another biscuit, and that is the Cookie Bear Hundreds and Thousands. Now, I'm not a 5-year-old child, obviously, but if I was a 5-year-old child, I would still be disappointed with these. These are just a very, very, very cheap, generic, thin biscuit with hundreds and thousands. Or what do you call them in the States or in other countries? Sprinkles? Just call them sprinkles, don't you? Yeah. We call them hundreds of thousands in New Zealand. There's a little bit of pink icing to hold those hundreds of thousands on the top, but it just reminds me of the sort of thing you'd make like for a school fair, and because they're just dead easy to make. I don't know, even as a kid, I was never really impressed by the hundreds of thousands. Got bad memories of eating hundreds of thousands sandwiches that you'd eat like when there wasn't much food left in the house. So I don't know. I think hundreds of thousands are pretty crap. I know some people love them and they'll hate me for putting them in the yeah nah category, but I think they're a bit stink if you ask me. They're just cheap and nasty. Yeah, I don't. Come at me. Moving on now. Yet another biscuit, and that is the Griffiths Crispy. I'm going to say it. I know people love these. I don't think they're that great. They're not bad. They're just another very generic, very bland biscuit covered in sugar. Well, not covered in sugar. They're sort of sprinkled with sugar. So they're just like a really, really sweet, sugary, generic, bland biscuit. These were always the last to go in my family when you got the Christmas time biscuit assortment box. The Crispies were the last to go because they're just a bit crap, really. I mean, you eat them in the end, but they're like, you know what? They are stink. I'd say Sprinkles are a little bit better because at least they got a little bit of color and flavor. Crispies are just brown, boring biscuits with sugar on top. Into a non-biscuit snack, one of my favorites and the favorites of many a Kiwi, and that is pineapple lumps. Pineapple lumps are like a chewy, they're not marshmallow, they are a very chewy pineapple flavored filling covered in chocolate. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if any other people do this, but I think it was someone in my family when I was a kid said, hey, put them in the freezer and eat them frozen. And you know what? They're actually really, really good. Oh, they're going in the choice, bro, for me. Oh, above Mexicano corn chips. I do love Mexicano, but you know what? They're a close third for me, just under the Jaffa. There we go. All right, back to biscuits. And now we've got the Griffins chocolate Wheaton. Yeah, Wheatons are pretty good. A very, as the name suggests, wheaty, sort of generic, bland biscuit, but made a hell of a lot better in the fact that it's covered in chocolate. Well, at least the top half is covered in chocolate anyway. You can't really see it in this truncated version of the picture I've got here, which is a shame. But look, chocolate Wheaton's up there. I mean, they look a lot like those chocolate digestives you get, but a lot smaller, which means you can just mow through a whole packet. Chocolate Wheatons, I mean, they're not fantastic, but they're a year, bro, and they're below Chitchats. I'm gonna put them above Burger Rings though. Chocolate Wheatons are all right in my opinion. Let's move to a non-biscuit snack, and that is Hokey Pokey ice cream. I'm going to get some shit for this, but there are just so many flavors better than Hokey Pokey. Even as a kid growing up, Hokey Pokey was never my favorite ice cream. It's not bad, but I never got all the fuss about it. It's just vanilla ice cream with bits of Hokey Pokey. It's sure, for me anyway. It's all right. I know a lot of New Zealanders love it. I think it's very overrated, and there's just much, much better ice cream available in New Zealand. But it's such a loved favorite. It's going in the chair at least. More biscuits now, and this is the Griffins chocolate chippies. As a kid, you wouldn't be disappointed by getting these, but you'd be shoving your brother and sister out of the way so you could get to the Chit-Chats, or I don't know, possibly even the ice cream sandwiches if you're that way inclined. Any of the better biscuits, these are not bad, and as the name suggests, they're just chocolate chip cookies, right? They're very small though, and again, they have gotten much, much smaller over the years. A weird texture, like the actual biscuit itself is quite hard, but also quite chewy. Really tough consistency. And the chocolate chips themselves with that really bottom of the barrel chocolate, like your nan's cooking chocolate that you'd raid if there were no other lollies or sweets in the house, that sort of thing. The chocolate is also very, very hard. As far as chocolate chip cookies go, these are pretty bad. But as biscuits go, they're not that bad. I am going to put them in, sure, they're better than vanilla wines, that's for sure. Below Hokey Pokey, though. Let's go to these. Pascal Fruit Bursts. Again, I'm sure they used to be made by another company, probably. But they're just hard fruit-flavored chews, I guess you would call them. Come in a variety of flavors like banana, orange, lime, strawberry. What's the purple flavor called? Like wild berry or something? Those are pretty good. Purple's a good flavor. There used to be peach as well, which was my favorite, but I'm not sure. I don't think they do the peach ones anymore. They've lost a little bit of weight with me for losing the peach flavor. They're still way up there though. I still do love Fruit Bursts. I'd say there's some of the better New Zealand lollies out there. They're gonna go up in the Choice Bro, but where do they go in Choice Bro? Number 3 in the Choice Bro. Okay, we've only got 2 left, and let's move on to Toffee Pops. Basically, the Toffee Pop is another generic biscuity base with what used to be reasonably generous amount of toffee center, and then all covered in chocolate. Like all other New Zealand biscuits, though, they have gotten criminally small, like to the point where I don't know, I don't even bother buying them anymore just because the price you pay for what you get now is just ridiculous. I do still have a soft spot for them, but you know what? They've slipped in my books. They used to be a choice, bro, but because of their ever decreasing size, you know what? I like them better than a Chit. I don't like them better than a Chitchat. The Chitchats are better. They're going between Chitchats and chocolate Wheatons. And finally, we're on to this. Another of the Cookie Bear range, the Shrewsbury, or when I was a child, they were just called Shrewsbury. They are two, not one, but two somewhat bland, almost actually you could consider stale generic biscuit bases. And sandwiched in between these two layers of generic biscuit is what is supposed to be strawberry jam. But if that's jam, then my grandma is a Dutchman, because it's weird. It's not jam. It's like this very thick, slightly viscous. Nah, it's not really viscous. It's not really fluid at all. It's just this hardened strawberry syrup. In the center of the top biscuit there, you get a little hole, so some of that sweet strawberry viscous stuff pokes out a little bit. Shrewsbury, they're a bit simple, a bit generic, but they are pretty decent still. Again, size is an issue. They're getting smaller and smaller. They're not fantastic, but they're not bad either. They're not a chur. No, you know what? They're just a bit below Choco Weight and Mallard Puffs. They're sort of at the arse end of, yeah, bro. You'd smash a whole packet of them if they're there, but there are much, much better biscuits to be had in New Zealand, that's for sure. Well, there we go. So that's my tier rankings of what I consider to be some of New Zealand's most famous and well-known snack foods. You can see that many of them are biscuits, and the more I think about it, there's probably a tier ranking for New Zealand biscuits video in the future that I could make. I'm sure that will cause a lot of controversy and arguments, though, because New Zealanders do love their biscuits, and New Zealanders' opinions on biscuits can be very, very harsh and very wide-ranging. If you've got some snacks, some popular New Zealand snacks that you think I've missed out here that deserve to be on the list, why not leave them in the comments below? I'll say it again, that the rankings here are just my opinions. You've probably got very different opinions, in which case I'd love to hear what those opinions are. Also, write them down in the comments below. And whether or not you like or dislike some of these snacks, or you've got completely different ideas on how they should be ranked, I think you're still a great New Zealander if you've sat through this whole video. And I'll see you in the next one.